Hi, it's Lisa Cuneo and welcome to my scrapbook table. Today I am doing a layout for a little virtual scrapbooking crop that Scrapbook Generations is hosting in their Facebook group. And one of the challenges for today is called Dive Right In. And there were several things you could do, like you could do something swimming, or like a new experience that you were diving into, or you could use new product that you haven't opened yet, or something about how you manage the stress of a new difficult situation. So I decided to take the last two routes. I have some brand new product that I just opened 10 minutes ago. It is the Simple Stories collection called Collector's Essential. And it's a springy color kit. It's got chickens. It has some faces like in the sunshine. I'm not a fan of that. And I probably won't use the frogs. But I can see myself using lots of these papers. I love the florals. I could fussy cut those. I like this dark background, though I am not a gardener and that's kind of gardening themed. I do have some old pictures from our chickens that we had when we lived in Pennsylvania. So I might use those for that. Or my daughter's birthday is coming up. I might use that to make her a card. Some pretty butterflies. I love that floral right there. So there is lots that I can do with this. So I decided, I haven't done an entry in my book called Grace to Help for a while. And if you've watched some of these, you know that these are things that help me deal with stress, specifically related to my husband's health. So I decided, I went through my notebook where I keep things that I've written out that help me when I'm trying not to worry. And I chose a song that I'm going to put in this layout. It's called I Will Rise by Chris Tomlin. If I remember, I'll put a link to the song in the description box so that if you're interested, you could listen to that. I pulled out some little pieces that I'm going to decorate with. I have some little clouds. I have this sunshine, florals, and I may pull some more. I have lots to work with. I also have the like chipboard stickers, but I'm trying not to put bulky stuff in here, though I have done some. I'm just trying not to add too much bulk because it's going to get to the point where it's not going to close very well. The other brand new thing I have is this stencil from Simon Says Stamp. I have never used it. I bought it at a yard sale for $2. It has never been used, I don't think. Like, it doesn't have anything on it. So I'm guessing it was never used. And then I pulled out my swatches for my Distress Oxides to see what colors I think are going to work. So it looks like Speckled Egg will be a good fit. Picked Raspberry maybe. And for, let's see, for the yellow, not Antique Linen. I don't know. I might not have a yellow that works. I might have to look at some other paints or things that I have for that yellow. Or maybe if I mix two of these, it would, together, they would create that. And if I was going to use a green, probably Rustic Wilderness. So I'm going to go ahead, pull out my inks, and then I'll be back and show you what I come up with. So I have all my inks out. I'm using 2 shades of pink, one brighter, one a little lighter to tone it down. I did the same with the yellows. I used a mustard seed, so a bright one with antique linen to tone it down a bit. I'm overlapping them. And then I use a couple greens from Stampin' Up. The greens I had in Distress Oxide just weren't quite right, so I used Old Olive and Always Artichoke. And I'm overlapping some. I'm not being really careful about it. These are pretty dark, so I do blot them off on a piece of scrap off to the side a little bit. And I use some mint tape to protect the edge so that I didn't go outside of my stencil. The stencil is called Harvest. It's from Simon Says Stamp from 2018. And I paid $2 for it at a yard sale. And so I'm pulling these off. And I end up just moving the stencil around and continuing the pattern. I use speckled egg for the blue. I kind of wish it were a little bluer. But I didn't have... The only blues I had were really bright and they weren't going to work. So... This is not perfect, but that's okay. I don't mind that. And I'm excited with how it turned out. I like it better than I thought I would when I was in the middle of it. So that's kind of nice. And there it is. The whole surface is covered. I'm using a really old stamp set from Stampin' Up. It's from 2006, and it's called Best Friends Upper Alpha. I like the font. And I tested them on a piece of scrap to do my best to get them lined up. Sorry, I had to get my head in the way there to see what I was doing. And they line up pretty well for not being able to use my Misty or something like that to get them lined up there. So then I just handwrite the words I will. And so that's my title for the page, I Will Rise. And I add the name of the artist, Chris Tomlin, and the year that it was written, 2008. And then I write the lyrics. I don't have you watch all of that. I use a ruler every so often just to keep things straight. And I find it easier when I'm writing a lot to keep the ruler above, and that's just, it does just as well keeping my line straight. But number one, I don't have to like hold my hand on top of the ruler, which I find awkward. And when I have letters that are descending, like G or Y, then I'm not having to move the ruler to do that. So I've been doing that a lot lately, and I find it helps me quite a bit. There is a spot near my left index finger right now that the colors overlapped in a way that's pretty yucky. They almost look brown right there. So I end up putting a sticker there from the Simple Stories collection that I'm using. And I decide that's going to go right there. So I go ahead and put it down so that I can write my lyrics around it. And I just trimmed off the little fence there that I wasn't going to use. And let's see, what else am I doing? I guess I'm thinking about what other stickers and die cuts I want where. Here's a sunshine with 2 clouds, and I wanted to use that, but I just don't like the eyes and mouth on it. So I'm thinking, what can I cover that with? And I found this word phrase from the sticker sheet that says press pause. I trimmed the excess off the edges so it would fit in there a little bit better. And it covers that up absolutely perfectly. It was like it was made that way. So I was really excited about that. Then toward the bottom, I add a flower basket and some flower die cuts. You can see them there. There's an extra cloud, so I'm tucking it behind the house. You can see that I have finished with the lyrics there. Glued a little yellow flower down there. I had one more cloud. Actually, I think I found one toward the end when I lifted something up. Also, in the process of this, I lost the package that all the die cuts for this are in. They were right here that I was using them, and now they're gone. So they have to be here somewhere, but at least I had out what I wanted for this project before I lost them. So then I just used a couple of tabs. I wanted something to create like a dividing area because I wanted to just do a little bit of journaling. So I thought putting this tab there that says "So Happy" would be a good solution. But then it kind of blended in. So I just took my black marker and traced around it so that it would stick out a little more. Then I did the same at the top. The top one got a little bit messy, but I figured out how to fix it. That happened a few times on this, and that's okay. This isn't about perfection. This is about creating a meaningful project for me. And so I'm not worried about it. And I just wrote that this is a really happy song. And so I wanted a happy feeling page. And I think these colors are happy feeling. I'll just read the part of the first verse. It says, "There's a peace I've come to know, though my heart and flesh may fail. There's an anchor for my soul. I can say, it is well." And again, I will put a link to the song in the description box so that if you'd like to listen to it, you can. Here I'm fixing another mistake, but I just put 2 little flower stickers on top of it and then finished my journaling, and it looks just fine. I don't think anybody would look at it and say, "Oh, she only put those stickers there because she made a mistake," except all of you who've seen the video. So that's okay. And there I just finish up. Again, this was for the Scrapbook Generation scrapbooking hop on their Facebook page that's happening this weekend. They're hosting a few this summer, and the challenges have lots of options. So take a look at that. I'll put a link in the description box. Thanks so much for joining me today. Again, this is part of my Grace to Help project, and I'll have a link to the playlist as well. So if you'd like to go back and see others, if you're new to this, you can do that. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your being here. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you are not new and one of my regular subscribers, thanks so much. I really appreciate you. I hope you have a great day, and I hope that you get to scrapbook something very soon. Here come the still shots. Bye-bye.